who can destroy a thing has the real control of it.
Well, hey there, guys. Welcome back to the Zeke Said So podcast, or to the YouTube channel if you guys are watching this on the YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for returning. I am going to be doing a Dune Part 2 spoilers review. So if you have not seen Dune Part 2, this is your warning right now. Turn away. Honestly, you've had 2 weeks to see it now, so this spoilers review is going up late. So you've had 2 weeks to see the film now. But we're going to get into everything. The beginning, the middle, the ending, all of it. Okay, we're going to get into all of it. So let's get into it. If you guys have been following me for any period of time, you guys know how much I love the first one. I love Denis Villeneuve as a filmmaker. So going into this film, I had a lot of expectations. I had really high expectations. It was my most anticipated film of this year. And having coming out of the film, I think it is so far the best movie I've seen this year. Again, it's early. It's early on in the year. It's only March. We haven't really had that much. There hasn't been a lot of good movies. But this is my favorite movie of the year so far. I loved it. I think it's epic. It was tragic, but it was also funny at times. Like, there was actually moments of good levity and humor. I thought the performances were fantastic. Timothee Chalamet, Zendaya, Javier Bardem, Austin Butler was fantastic. Even Christopher Walken, who I typically like to make fun of. But he was even really great in this film. Florence Pugh was fantastic. Rebecca Ferguson. A lot of the actors in this film were really, really great. So let me go ahead and get into specifics. What I loved. I loved the fact that this movie picks up right where the last one left off. We see Paul Atreides with the Fremen, and we kind of, in this film, we learn more about what the Fremen's kind of way of life is, how important water is to them, and what their traditions are, what their beliefs are. And I love the fact that Stilgar, played by Javier Bardem, firmly has this belief that Paul Atreides is the chosen one. He is, he's the chosen one. He's the Messiah, whatever, right? And I like the fact that he's convinced and he firmly believes that this is the one. Like, in the Matrix terms, Paul Atreides is the one. And I love that the other people, the other Fremen didn't believe that. They don't think that he is the one. They don't believe in the prophecy and all that kind of stuff. And I even like, even Paul Atreides was like, I'm not the chosen one. I am not who you want me to be. Then there's that moment, really funny moment, where Stilgar is like, he's too humble to admit it. He's too humble to admit that he's the chosen one. And I thought that was great. The setup to this movie was fantastic. Yes, it had a build-up. And the first movie, a lot of people complained that it was slow, that there wasn't a lot of action in the film. I think those people are going to be really satisfied with this film because there is so much action in this film, from start to finish. One of the other things I really liked about the film, though, in its beginning parts, is I loved seeing Paul Atreides kind of learn the ways of the Fremen. How do they walk? And I loved his relationship with Chani, played by Zendaya. And I thought those two had a really great chemistry. And over the course of the first half, we see them fall in love, and which makes the ending all the more tragic when, I mean, we get into the end. We get into the ending where Paul Atreides defeats the Emperor, and he's gonna sit on the throne, and he's gonna marry the daughter of the Emperor, played by Florence Pugh. Um, and it makes all of the stuff before his relationship with Chani all the more tragic, you know. And I love that. I thought it was great. Let's move on to the villains, the Harkonnen. Okay. The first thing I want to bring up is um, I want to bring up the twist real quick. This idea that Paul Atreides, his mom, is half Harkonnen. Um, and the fact that all of a sudden now he has to kind of like, oh my gosh, like we're we're ha- we're half Harkonnen, you know, and I thought that was an amazing twist, and all of a sudden it just like blew my mind, you know, because I had read half of the book. Okay, I didn't want to read the rest of it because I wanted to save my um I did not want um anything ruined for me. So even though I owned the first book, um I only read maybe the first couple chapters of it, and I didn't even read the rest of it because I wanted to kind of save it for the movie. Now I probably will read it now. I'll probably read the rest of it, but I thought that twist that reveal was so powerful and something that I actually did not see coming. Like when it was revealed, I went, "Oh, that's a great reveal." And I even love that he even started calling um Stellan Skarsgard's character uh, uh grandfather. And I even liked it when he started calling Fade I think it's Fade gosh, I can't pronounce his last name, but Austin Butler's character, he starts calling him cousin. I thought that was great. Um, I loved the reunion between Paul and Josh Brolin. I thought that was great. But getting back to the villains real quick, Dave Bautista in this movie. Dave Bautista, I think, is getting better and better and better as an actor. I liked him in I like him in the Guardians films. I think he's great as Drax. But you can tell that he's definitely playing more in the comedic side of things. He's definitely there more so as a comic relief. It's not like he's given a lot more to do from an acting standpoint, you know. But with this film, and then even in that M Night Shyamalan movie, I can't remember what it was called, but I think it was. I can't remember what it was called, but it's the M Night Shyamalan movie where you have the family in the cabin, and Dave Bautista leads a group of people who are trying to end the apocalypse or something like that. I can't remember what the movie was called. Even in a movie as terrible as that movie, he was great in it, you know. And so with each movie we see him in, I think he's getting better and better as an actor. And I thought he was fantastic in this film. I love the fact that, you know, he's kind of put in charge of spice production in on Arrakis, and he's failing at it. You know, he's not doing a great job, to the point where now they bring in Fade as the replacement, and I love their dynamic. I thought the fact that Dave Bautista comes in and is like, like, what's he doing here? And Austin Butler's character just pushes him down on the ground and says, you know what? Kiss my feet. It's like, dang, that's awesome. Let's talk about Austin Butler for a second. I heard someone online compare him to Frieza from Dragon Ball Z. After seeing the movie a couple times, I can see that. I can see that comparison because much like Frieza, and very similar to Darth Vader in a lot of ways, Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back, which I have the poster right here. In Empire Strikes Back, we see Darth Vader just, killing his associates if they do anything wrong, but but Fade, Austin Butler's character, he just like there's that scene where he's picking up the blade, and all of a sudden he slits one of the ladies' throats, and he's like, it's not sharp enough. Oh my gosh, like oh man, like instantly from that moment I was terrified. Then when he's in the arena, by the way, I love the way their world, the Harkonnen world, was. I like the fact that when they're indoors, it's you can see the color and all that kind of stuff. But when they're outdoors and the sun is out, it goes black and white. I love that. I thought it was so clever and so creative from a visual standpoint. Just amazing. But the character that Austin Butler plays, he's the Joker. He's got a Joker quality for him. He's almost like if the Joker and Frieza kind of merged into one character. That's Austin Butler's character in this film. He's incredible. Like I thought he was so great, and I loved that final fight that when he decides that he's gonna fight in the Emperor's place, right? He's gonna fight Paul Atreides for the Emperor, and may thy knife chip and shatter, and then all of a sudden they begin to fight, and he ultimately Paul does kill him in the fight. But that fight, what I loved about that fight was that there's no music. It's just you just hear the sound effects and the noise and the grunting coming from Paul and Austin Butler's character. I'm sure I'll figure out how to pronounce his name. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. But I thought that was fantastic. There are so many things that I loved about this movie. Again, I love that whole section. I thought, we saw this in the trailer, and I kind of wish they hadn't shown it in the trailer. But when one of the Bene Gesserit looks at Paul and goes, "Consider what you're about to do, Paul," and Paul just uses the voice and silence. Oh God, that was so cool. That was so cool. And again, that ending when he decides, when he takes the hand of the Emperor's daughter, and Chani's reaction to that, and we are now setting the stages for an all-out war because the other houses are here and they are ready to attack, and we are now setting the stages for a full-blown war. And I am and that last shot of Chani standing on the dune, on the sand, while the sandworm is coming at her. it is such a powerful, because you see the look on her face. And again, Zendaya, she's another one who I am blown away by how great she is as an. I mean, I always thought she was good, but every movie we see her in, she is getting better and better and better. And I think her stuff on Euphoria has helped her kind of grow as an actress, because now we're seeing all these different dimensions to her. And that last shot where you see her face, that it almost, like the way I saw it, she is heartbroken. She's she's heartbroken because she does not believe in the prophecy, and she doesn't think that that Paul should take up that mantle as the chosen one. But and and then when he takes the when he decides to take the emperor's daughter's hand, um, she's just like, she's that face that she gives at the end of the film, that final shot. Like, some people will kind of analyze as to what that means. Is she heartbroken? Is she angry? All that kind of stuff. In my eyes, I feel that she is she feels betrayed by not just Paul, but by her people. That her people have now bought into this, to the prophecy. You know, um, I just thought this, guys. I just thought this movie was so great. I thought this movie was so great. I mean, I don't have any negative things to say about it. Like, I mean, there are little nitpicks here and there, um, but nothing in this film that drastically made me go, why did you do that? Everything made sense for where the story was going, and now I am excited to see where they take this next adventure, to where, again, because it has set up the next film in such a way where I'm like, bring it on. Bring it on. I know Denis Villeneuve said he wants to take his time and he wants to make sure that they have a good script, and I'm willing to wait as long as he comes back to direct it. I don't care how long he takes to make the next one. As long as he comes back to direct it, that's all I ask, because I think he has, like, I said this about the first film, and now I believe it even more so after seeing the second film. This, to me, is this generation's version of what the Lord of the Rings was. This is Lord of the Rings, but in space. And I love it. And I remember even saying when I first saw it, this epicness and this scope is what I wish we got with the live action Avatar. And I know, and I'm gonna get into my issue. I'll talk about the live action Avatar when we get to the when we do the Zeke Setzel show. Me and Michael will do the Zeke Setzel show, and you guys will hear my thoughts on it. But yeah, guys, like, I love this movie. I cannot wait to see the next part. I'm now really excited for this series that they're gonna do for Max. I am just like, I am floored by how much I loved the first movie, and by how much I loved, how much I loved the second film. I think it's great. I haven't given scores to films in a long time. I did it for my Instagram review for Arthur the King, but I mean, this is a 10 out of 10 for me. Like, this is really a 10 out of 10 for me. I loved it. And I'm glad that it is getting the amount of success that it's getting. I hope that by the time next year's Academy Awards come around, that it does not get lost in the shuffle. I hope not. It might, just because of how early in the year it came out, and we still got a lot of movies to see. But I would hope that it doesn't get lost in the shuffle, because my goodness, I love this movie so much, and it's, again, so far it's my favorite movie of the year, and I just think Denis Villeneuve has killed it once again. He's killed it. So that will do it for this spoilers review for Dune Part 2. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you guys liked this format. If you guys like me doing the spoilers reviews, because I haven't done a actual spoilers review for a movie in a very, very long time. Probably since, I believe, the last one I did was for Spider-Man No Way Home. Well, no, I've done some spoilers reviews like for the Marvel films, but I don't think I've done a traditional spoilers review for anything um other than a Marvel film or a DC film. Um so yeah, I mean, I'm going to start doing more of these spoilers reviews, cuz I mean, there are just some films that I have seen that I'm just like, I need to talk about this in depth. I think I might do one for Ghostbusters Afterlife. Um, but I have to see if I like it as much to do a spoilers review. So, but yeah, that will do it for this installment, this spoilers review for Dune Part 2. What did you guys think of Dune Part 2? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What were some of your positives? What were some of your negatives? What are some things that stood out to you? And are you excited to see the next installment for the Dune? What could be a Dune trilogy? Let's keep this conversation going, because I think we definitely have a great one on our hands here. But that will do it for this spoilers review, guys. If you guys are listening to this on the podcast, please make sure you subscribe, share the podcast. It's going to help the podcast grow. You guys can follow me on X at Zeke Said So, and on TikTok, Threads, and YouTube at Zeke Said So Pictures. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening. Anything like this, please make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe. I think you guys should subscribe to my YouTube channel and the podcast, because Zeke the Geek said so. And I will talk to you guys later. Peace out.